first paint the picture for us of Houston now, Regina. We're seeing stories of, places like Oklahoma and North Dakota just absolutely devastated by this price drop and demand destruction. What does Houston talk about these days?
Well, clearly yesterday was historic and unprecedented. We've never seen oil go negative, and frankly, to go so far negative, down to negative $37. But I think it's also important to take a moment to recognize who really suffered yesterday. I believe the hedgers and the speculators are the ones that took a bath yesterday, and those in the oil patch that actually were able to provide physical delivery and had storage options probably made a good bit of money or made some good bets yesterday. Clearly, it is devastating in separating the global economic meltdown, the U.S. economic meltdown, with the oil patch meltdown. Who's to say what the biggest drivers are, but it's devastating for Houston, it's devastating for the country.
So what are banks doing and other lenders, Regina? Are they being lenient, or are they each trying to sort of get a read on who will survive this and who won't, and cut their losses?
Clearly, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's trying to figure out who can survive. And for those that have strong balance sheets and can survive, your average bank really doesn't want to own the keys to producing wells in the Permian. But those that can't survive really probably need to wash out sooner rather than later, and that will help ease some of the supply, the oversupply that we have, and the glut of oil in the market. And so, we do need to let the free market work. At the same time, we have states and the administration that are looking at things that they might be able to do, because, frankly, unprecedented times require unprecedented measures from governmental agencies to help backstop markets.
So we have the Texas Railroad Commission, mulling a production quota. There's one commissioner for it, two are abstaining for the moment, or at least pushing off the decision. What would be the right thing to do, given that our previous guests have said, look, it's not going to make an immediate enough difference to companies anyway?
I think given what happened yesterday, the pressure is going to increase on perhaps trying to do something to create a backstop. The Permian is quite prolific in its production, and producers do want the flexibility to make choices of where they curtail and where they don't. And some of the larger ones that have access to capital and more liquidity and operate in a number of other basins want that flexibility. But you have a number of small producers, very small, mom-and-pop types of organizations that are strong voting blocs. So I think that's what the administration is reacting to, is there are a number of a strong voting base in Texas that are advocating for taking action.
What would you bet on if you were a betting person, Regina, or if you were advising people? I mean, how will the industry look in 3 months' time?
I am a betting person, and sadly, I'm pretty bearish right now. I think the demand destruction is going to take a long time to wind through. We have seen changes in traffic patterns, consumer behavior, airline travel, travel and leisure. That's not going to recover for a long time. And in addition to that, we have this oversupply that's building. OPEC has decided to cut. That cut doesn't take effect until May. Most estimates are demand destruction is 25 to 35 million barrels per day. So we have a delta of anywhere between 15 and 25 million barrels per day globally. That starts to add up. You start to look at, if it's a 30-day outage, it's a 500 million barrels. If it's a 60-day outage, it's almost 1 billion barrels. When does that supply come out of the market? I think you don't see that starting to balance until 2021, like well into 2021. I think it's going to be a tough road for the next 12 to 18 months for our industry, and those that do have strong balance sheets and access to liquidity will be able to survive, but it's going to be a really rough 12 to 18 months.